So, hello everyone. Thank you for coming to the next community call. Today's topic is the ITN. Today, Florian will join us in a call and we talk about some topics related to the ITN, about the nodes, and also some other interesting topics. For full disclosure, this call will be recorded. So if you decide to raise your voice, you will be recorded as well. Florian, I think you can unmute yourself and give us a little introduction.
Hey, hi, can you hear me? Test, test.
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah, hi everybody. Excited to be here. Our first validator community call, I think. We have had a couple of community calls with different topics. Today's validation. And my name's Florian. I'm a core member of the team behind the Q development, who's working on the Q blockchain protocol. And initially, I started with looking for solutions on how Q blockchain can achieve its goals. You know, we have the root node layer, which is very unique to Q blockchain. The role of the validators inside this governance consensus. And later on, I worked on ecosystem, whereas I was am responsible for the validator onboarding and working on the different strategies. One of them was the Incentivized Testnet for validators, but also on approaching professional validator companies and the likes, and introduce Q blockchain to the validators. But also I work a lot with applications, projects that are interested in deploying on Q or understanding why Q is different. So I help them on board, integrate, and also discuss ways to integrate Q governance modules in the applications. And that's the other half of my job, I'd say.
The other half of your job is great. I want to greet some community members first before we go over. So nice to see you, Happy. Nice to see you, Javad. And Chaos, of course, Ruslan, Shrimp, Jack. We have a lot of people in here, so I can't greet everyone. It's nice to see all of you. And let's move over to the topic, Florian. So we had 3 months ITN. We started end of December and it finished end of March. And it's insane how fast 3 months passing by. that we are here right now. The ITN ended and we have our call. It's insane, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 3 months. It's in Germany we say it's a cat jump. It's a little jump, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's because in crypto 3 months feels like I don't know, 3 years. If we imagine what happened in these 3 months on the global Web3 economy, I think we've seen a lot. We've been through a lot, and let's hope that the next 3 months are even more exciting.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So let's dive into the topic of the ITN. I know that there were 8,000 sign-ups, Florian, and I think you have way more detailed information regarding this than I have. So do you have something like how many nodes participated and so on? Give us a little insight.
Sure. So as you mentioned, we had these 8,000 sign-ups, and this was very exciting for us. And we started with a small information on the staking summit, and later we went on public that there is an ITN coming. 8,000 people signed up, and of these, we had one criteria, which was people that sign up need to be Q blockchain Discord community member. So only 5,000 of those actually have been in the community, and of these, 5,000. Let's say community members, 3,500 actually started a node. And this was for me one of the most exciting statistics or findings, that actually we can have 3,500 nodes on the testnet in short time. It could help us a lot to discover, for example, block and transaction propagation time, among a much wider network of nodes and much more distributed. So we had nodes from most places in the world, which was very exciting, taking part. And then we defined a set of criteria, of course, that you have to put some stake in the mainnet, in the testnet validator staking contract, that you have to keep your uptime, that you are reporting to the statistics tracker. And so of these 3,500 nodes in the beginning, it after maybe the first 2 weeks, it came down to 2,900 nodes. And at the end of the program, about 2,500 nodes finished the monitoring phase. And of these, we could find 2,200 eligible validators in the end, which is, for us, very satisfying result. More than 2,000 potential validators having a look on Q blockchain can make their judgment about Q blockchain if they find it interesting to continue validating on it, which is of course our motivation, and help to have a much diversified set of validators in the end.
Yeah, that are some great numbers, to be honest, because 8,000 signups and 2,500 nodes is a great number from my point of view. And there is, of course, a reason behind the ITN, why we made the ITN and why it's launched. So what was the reason why we made the ITN?
Yeah, so one I just briefly mentioned, we want to find suitable mainnet validators. So essentially, we want to get to know good validators. And this incentivized testnet is a good opportunity to have people look at it, have a low entry barrier of starting node validation, and earn a track record and reputation, even though it's on the testnet. Testnet mainnet's always a little bit different, but have the track record on the testnet, show some good results on the testnet, and then it's very, very interesting to see the performance and get to know these validators. And of course, looking a little bit on the whole protocol, we want to diversify the validation. It shouldn't be that initially, of course, it was a lot supported by the Q development team and by the strategic partners from the beginning, but we wanted to diversify further and decentralize further. And this is, in our opinion, or my opinion, a good way to diversify the set. And we get 2,200 independent actors, which is a very, it's one of the first steps for Q blockchain as a protocol to become decentralized. That's, I think, main motivation behind the whole scheme.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So does it also was it a pure success for you, the ITN, or how would you see the current status of it?
Yeah, I mean, as we speak, we ended the monitoring phase. So the next steps are the reward phase. I think we can discuss in a few seconds also. So there will be reward distribution, and then there will be actually validation on the mainnet. And I don't know how many validators judge Q blockchain as a interesting and promising protocol. So I hope a lot. And to really say how successful it was, we will see once we see the activity on the mainnet, I'd say. From a testnet perspective, I think it's more than successful. Of course, we can compare to a lot of other projects. Some received higher numbers, some received lower numbers. So compared to this, I think we're somewhere in the middle. But our goal is to reach a set of about 135 strong mainnet validators, and this is a preparation for it. So I think we will be, with good confidence, I can say we will reach this goal by this measure.
Yeah, I think so as well. We have a great community, so shout out to every one of you who's right now in the call. You just mentioned that there were 2,500 nodes in the end, and there were around they weren't, all those 2,500 nodes weren't eligible validators. So can you explain who is an eligible validator and who gets excluded?
Yeah, sure. So eligibility, I would refer first to the Medium blog post we give in December when we said the registration is live. The Medium blog post describes the criteria. First and most is a good uptime, because uptime is critical to secure the blockchain. As a validator, you cannot secure blockchain if your node is down, right? That's why this is a must-have. And in the beginning, we were a bit strict. We put a goal of 95% uptime during the 3 months. But we relaxed this goal a little bit after we have received some feedback of some problems, and also that there can be other factors at play which can cause downtime on the user. So we said, okay, for the testnet rewards, we will introduce more levels rather than just only 95% uptime. So we relaxed it a little bit. But this also will affect the amount of reward tokens received for the uptime. And still the above 95 or above equal 95% we consider as a top category of validators. So uptime is the most important good. And simply we also identified a set of validators with zero uptime. Then that's not what we call an eligible validator. And then, as I mentioned in the beginning, we said validator must be a Q community member on the Discord, has staked into the validator ranking, and is reporting to this Q-Stats tracking server. For this, also we mentioned that we will have a lookout for Sybil attacks, and it was also reported by users in the chat that they identified quite some number of Sybil accounts in the stats tracking. So what's a Sybil account? It's an account that pretends to be 2 or more independent actors, but being only one actor. And maybe you can argue about a one and a second account or something, but some Sybils we identified with more than 100 nodes. So 100 nodes pretending to be independent actors. And in total, we have identified between 500 and 600 Sybil accounts, which are also not eligible or received a reduced amount, depending on the severity. And then these accounts which had a very high number of Sybils, they will not be rewarded. And this is we have seen this in other testnet campaigns where users needed to do some action on the testnet and then they get mainnet rewards. And on some other protocols, there were users with 1,000 accounts. And it's of course very unfair to everybody who is honest if someone gets 1,000 times the rewards for this activity, right? And therefore the Sybil analysis was also a part of the eligibility set. But we were happy to see that mostly overall majority 2,200 nodes were honest of a set of 3,000 nodes. That's why we were still satisfied with the result.
That's great. Yeah, I think since we changed the uptime percentage, we received great feedback from the community, and we also had a great help from community captains like Hercules and like Ruslan, but also people like Hades, who's not a community captain, helped the community great in the validator general. So many thanks to those people who actually interact in the community, who help the community and doing this voluntary, of course. I think
maybe give me also a moment to thank these guys. So the community captains, Hercules, Chaos, and Ruslan, great support you're giving there. We are also just a team of people, and we cannot be online 24/7. And we talk to projects, bringing them to Q blockchain, and that's why it's really, really helpful what you're doing. It's really good to see people in the community asking to support somehow in some ways they can. And I can just motivate everybody that if you see questions in the chat and there's a validator that is struggling, just to try to help them. It's a very good community feeling, and it's supporting us as a team a lot. because simply, sometimes there is so much demand that we cannot handle everything.
Yeah, that's on the spot. I would. Yeah, many people asking themselves about rewards, and I think rewards is a high interested topic from everyone in this call. So let's move over to this topic, Florian. And my question would be, how high are the rewards?
Yeah, I think most of the testnet validators, of course, are interested in this. So you have seen from a few of the other giveaways, maybe see a feeling for the Q token. We decided for the validator incentivized testnet to give a 1000 Q token for the highest uptime category. And categories with a lower uptime will get a reduced amount. I think there was an announcement by Yannick. It basically shows you that if you are above 95% uptime, you will get the 100% of this reward. If you are in the range 85, 45, 9, you get 90%. And this goes down until even an uptime between 11% and 49%, where you get still some 5% reward. And to give some reference, what is a 1000 Q currently in the mainnet? Where does it put you as a validator right now? You would be somewhat on the position 21 in the validator ranking. So of course it's not like a top 5 validator position or something like this, but still it's in the set of active validators. And here maybe I can give a little bit details about the Q validator consensus and the ranking. We try this in a stepwise approach. So our goal is to have 135 validators in the ranking that will receive the validation rewards. And at the moment, we are, I think, at 22 active validators and 35 standby validators. So a standby validator will receive also rewards just as an active validator, but the standby validator will have the blocks ignored by the network. The standby validator purpose is if some guy drops out of the active set, standby validator immediately will go into the active set. So they are really a standby purpose. So they receive the rewards. They have to keep the uptime, but their blocks are not accepted by the network. They're simply ignored. And of the active validators, the blocks are accepted in the network, and of course they receive the rewards. And at the moment, as I mentioned, we have this 22 active, 35 standby. Once we have the mainnet rewards going live and we can see honest and true participation of mainnet validators with governance proposals, we will increase these parameters. So the details are not decided yet, but for example, you can imagine from time to time we increase the active set by 10 until we reach the 101 active validators and then have the 34 standby validators. So yeah, right now, these 1000 Q will put you on the validation list. And it's something to get started on the mainnet. It's an incentive to start validation on mainnet, to learn about the delegation on mainnet. So delegation is something which is not really tested on testnet a lot, because the testnet tokens have no true value rather than testing and exploring the network. So with delegation, you can delegate some of your tokens to other validators and earn part of their revenue. So for this, I think we can have a lot of questions in the validator general chat once the rewards are live. In general, it's not so complicated. We have documentation to explain how the delegation works, but this will also be ready once the rewards are distributed.
Okay, so and actually, do they have to do something like KYC or other kind of actions to actually receive that reward?
Yeah, so in the beginning we said, okay, we still keep KYC as an option. We wanted to see the amount of Sybil we identify and we experience. As we could see and identify a lot of the Sybil users, we decided that all the data provided in the registration in the end of December is enough. So there is no further data that we collect. There is no further KYC process needed.
Okay, great. So no KYC, just the current data, and the community can just go over a page and claim their ITN
Right.
reward. Oh, that's great. So this makes it also easy for people to actually get their reward. But when they actually claimed the queue and they received their reward, can they set up a validator node with their? Oh, sorry. Oh, this was my microphone. Can they actually set up a validator node with their ITN queue? And do they, since we have a validator role on Discord, do they get the validator role as well?
Yeah, okay. Let's break this apart. So first, when validator has received the tokens from the ITN as reward, yes, it's possible to start a mainnet validator. We decided on a split approach. So 50% of the reward token will be claimed directly inside the validator stake, and this will be used to run a validator node. The other 50% are directly claimed into the Q Vault, and the Q Vault is a place which allows you to delegate tokens to a validator, take part in the governance of Q blockchain, which is a very important element. And this is why we decided to do it, to educate about how to take part in governance as well. So what you as a validator can do is spin up a mainnet node and delegate the 50% of tokens to your own node, so you have 100% of the rewards, or you can support other community members. We mentioned our community captains earlier. If they spin up nodes, you can you can say thank you to them by delegating a few of your tokens to them. Group together, you can work on different strategies how to use the delegation tokens. So we're excited to see how this will turn out. So yes, half the Q token available for the mainnet validator, other half available for delegation. If you want, delegate to yourself or delegate to other community member. And so this is for the token and if they can spin up the node. And regarding the validator role, so we decided that because we have 2,200 potentially mainnet validators, it's a little bit not helpful if all of them have the validator role on the mainnet. So we say the validator role is for medium to long-term committed validators. So come on the mainnet, go live, enter the panel of validators, sign a few blocks, and then after time to time, for the medium and long-term validators, we will integrate them into the validator role so that once we have announcements for validators, that all mainnet validators should feel encouraged to, for example, update the node, or if there's some issue, do some action. Therefore, this validator role shall be only for contributed validators.
Oh, that's great. We are just talking about validators on mainnet. So let me ask the community, who of you would be interested in setting up a validator node on mainnet? You can type into the chat. Is there? Oh, so me, Cleos. Oh, it's spammy, Florian. It doesn't stop. Great. Herf, Chemo, Angel, Lee. Nice. I think that makes us happy, right, Florian?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. I mean, this is
great.
the motivation behind the ITN to give a low entry barrier for mainnet validation on the Q chain. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Okay, they're still writing. Since we just ended our ITN, and actually we just ended it. So the another question would be: will be there another ITN, or is this the only ITN who is planned for the future, or for this current time?
Yeah, I think it's not impossible, but it would depend a little bit. So first, let's go back on the goal. The goal is to diversify the set of validators. and get to know strong mainnet validators. If we can achieve this goal and have this, I think other areas for the development of the Q blockchain as a protocol are also very important. We have other topics as the expert panels, governance topics. We have the root nodes. We have application in the ecosystem. And I think every validator can understand that being a validator is one important part of the blockchain, but not the only one. So I think at the moment, it's not planned clearly, but it's not impossible we would do it. It depends on the results. And of course, in the future, if we roll out, for example, a new feature for validators and we want to test it on the testnet with high stress, I think it could be a very reasonable option to do another ITN. And then once it's tested on testnet, it's good that it can be rolled out on the mainnet.
Wait for the future, I would say. Let's see what comes. Let's see what happens. I think there's a lot in store for 2023, and we will see what comes to all of us. So ITN ended, like I mentioned already twice. I think. So our takeaways from the ITN. What did we actually learn? I would say that we have a great community, engaging, helpful, nice, and supportive also. We saw so many people helping each other. We saw many people who were actually interested in running the node, in also in the governance topic of Q. We had around, this is another topic, but we had around 3.6K people actively participating on Crew 3 and making a quiz on Crew 3 and learning about Q. And I think this is maybe not the ITN topic totally, but it shows that the community is definitely a lot interested in Q. Would you like to add something, Flo?
Yeah, as you say, takeaway is amazing to see so many new users. But for me, it was also a learning lesson because I wasn't expecting so many first-time node operator. So first-time node operator is start a node for the first time, have many questions, very basic questions like how do I use terminal console? How do I use SSH? How do I manage my key on a node? How do I manage my key in MetaMask and manage on a node differently, etc., etc. So I was expecting a much higher technical level, and I was wrong with this. There are many users that start a node for the very first time. And yeah, that was for me very happy to see because in the end, blockchain is about an organic network. And organic means there are so many nodes connecting to each other that it's robust against outage. So I cannot cut the network off. And if you're a small group of 20 nodes, it's very, I'd say, centralized. But if you're a node of multiple thousands of node operators, it's really a decentralized thing. And Q blockchain wants to become truly decentralized protocol. Therefore, also these first ever node operators are important. And yeah, I was expecting much higher technical knowledge because I associated validators with it. But no, there are users who do this for the first time and they need support as well. And everybody who is a good validator at one time in his life, he was a beginner. So yeah, we should all welcome the beginners as well. And yeah, I hope to see more of this. And it was very good feeling to have these first ever users. So this was my, I don't know, biggest impression as well. That you can have really all a wide range of skills in these programs.
Yeah, sure. I like the part with organic. We also received from these first-time validators valuable feedback, and we adjusted the docs page and so on. So it was also for us a benefit that people did this for the first time. because it was, like you said, a learning experience, and we were able to adjust stuff regarding beginners and not only for full professionals, you know. So there was a ITN. People received their queue. They spin up a validator node. But what is with the other people who didn't participated in the ITN? Can they become also a validator on mainnet?
Yeah, sure. So that's possible. So if you didn't take part in the ITN, it's still a good idea to start a node on the testnet to see how it goes, the setup, to how to manage the validator stake, how to manage the node itself. And also we have pushed a Medium blog post, I think ago, where we also go through step-by-step explanation. And if you're interested in becoming a validator on Q blockchain, read this Medium article, reach out to us in community Discord ticket, whatever, and we are happy to support with the onboarding. It doesn't need to be related to the ITN.
Yeah, great. So for the community, the article, when you want to have a quick dive into the article, just go into the announcement channel, scroll a bit up to March 5th. There you will find an announcement and also the link to the Medium article. Read it carefully. All steps are described step by step, and you will be guided through it quite easily, I would say. We are almost at the end, Florian. That was the fast call today. So, so the ITN ended. It's all about ITN today. But what will actually come after the ITN? And I think I can step in this topic. So we will continue to expand the ecosystem and focus on DAOs and applications, and also to support the Q ecosystem with interactive ways like True3 and other contests. So there is currently some plans in the background. We plan some stuff regarding gaming guild, and this is currently in the works, but we didn't publish it yet or announced it, so there is no fixed date for it. But we have some topics that we are actually working on to engage with you and to make a great community atmosphere, to chill out and have fun, and also discuss blockchain topics, of course, since Q blockchain is about blockchain. And the Discord is also about Q blockchain, of course. We are planning some stuff, so it will not be boring. Do you want to add something to this, Florian, or are you fine with it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as I mentioned earlier, my role is also the ecosystem growth. So I will continue to talk to applications, interesting applications. You mentioned the DAOs. There is a wave of DAOs and DAO tooling onboarding as we speak. I think we added already a few. We are in discussions with many. And we really want to bring these governance features that Q blockchain has to these applications, which is different than, for example, deploying stuff on Polygon or other networks. We will really make sure that the ecosystem of Web3 applications understand this. And I'm looking forward to your game guild topic. I'm in the past I was a passionate gamer, but now don't have the time for it much more, but still love the topic. I think governance in games is one of the growing fields, because you always start with very little or no governance, but after some time also the gamified applications, they realize that governance is maybe one of the crucial parts for it. So really looking forward to all of this activity and excited to see them roll out.
Great. So, Florian, let's dive into some community questions, like 3 or 4.
Cool.
So, let me open the chat.
I have seen many.
Yeah, I have seen also many. Okay, let's take the first one from John. When can we claim the ITN rewards?
Yeah, so we're working on this. Of course, we have worked already multiple weeks on this. We have a technical challenge because you should be able to claim the reward without having queue. So we are working on a gasless claiming feature that everybody can make sure to receive the rewards and not depend on some minimum amount of queue token for this. This is in the doing. We have done successful tests. We are also on the still finalizing the analysis of the uptime data. Of course, a lot of stuff can be automated, but sometimes you need to have some manual corrections because there was downtime of our RPC, and in the downtime we cannot track the uptime, so we excluded these. So we figure these details out, and then we had a little bit the Easter time now. And as we are still a very much European-centric team, a lot of members and developers are on vacation holiday, but this doesn't mean it stopped. It's just with a little bit slower speed. So I personally think we can address the reward claiming in the second half of the April, so that really all rewards are until end of April. All rewards should be distributed, should be claimed, and yeah, I've seen a lot of people asking the question when I receive the rewards and since when I can start delegation and start the mainnet node. So you can count as let's say the beginning of May to be able to start the mainnet nodes and to be able to start the delegations. In case we can manage it a little bit earlier, maybe a few days earlier in April also possible. But clearly 1st of May and the time after that yeah, is our latest goal, let's say.
Yeah, great. I think they are exciting for it. Omni asks, how can I support the project in other departments post ITN? So actually, I don't know if you're already on our Crew 3. It's Zealy now. It's not anymore Crew 3. They rebranded. But on Crew 3... Huh? What?
Oh, really? I'm on vacation still. I didn't notice this.
Yeah, you're still hunting for the rabbit, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, they rebranded from Crew 3 to Zealy. So if you want to support the project, you can go on Zealy/Crew 3, of course, and do some quests over there. Take the quiz, learn more about Q, make Twitter post, LinkedIn post, something like this. There's a lot of stuff you can actually do to participate in how do I say it? To participate in the project and bring a part into it. So yeah,
maybe
just
I can also add something here. I mean, next to Crew 3 or Zealy, how it's now called, you could support us by introducing projects in the Web3 ecosystem about Q blockchain. We are looking for projects that building applications, that maybe running a meme NFT collection, these kind of stuff. So if you happen to know teams, invite them to our Discord channel to reach out for technical questions, reach out for all kinds of questions. Essentially, this was also a good way to support the network.
all right. Then the last question I would say is how are they able to check their uptime on their own?
No, not really anymore. So the uptime that we had this node status page on the ITM website for reference. The uptime was collected continuously. So I think we collected every 5 minutes. We collected statistics and we gathered them in a database. And yeah, they are all for the purpose of the analysis collected and then essentially deleted. So what you will receive as information about if the highest uptime was achieved, and then essentially on the level of the rewards, you can identify which level it was. If you look on the announcement, I think there were 5 levels, and then yeah, you can essentially see there in which level you have been reached.
Yeah, great. So I think that was interesting 40 minutes about the ITN as a community. Maybe, do we want to take one more question?
Yeah, I think I see a lot of question and discussion regarding the KYC and distribution and time locks and so on. So maybe let's go one more time through this, and then I would refer to the Medium blog post in December. So we said the data we collected in December is enough for us, so there is no additional KYC. You can claim the rewards. 50% of the rewards will be locked to the validator stake, and 50% of the rewards will be locked to the Q vault. Both will be locked for a duration of 3 months. That means for 3 months, you can use them as mainnet validator stake. You can use them as Q vault. After the 3 months, you can do whatever you like with it, withdraw to your own wallet, etc. And that's essentially the process, yeah.
All right. I think let's end the call. Thank you for coming to 115 people, actually.
Yeah, really excited.
Yeah, a lot of interest, a lot of messages in the chat, and also a lot of interested to set up a mainnet validator node. So I would say thank you for coming. Have a nice day, and see you soon.
All right, guys. Thank you a lot, and see you in the chat. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.